Alexei Navalny, welcome to Hard Talk.
Thank you very much for having me here.
You have been involved in opposition politics of one form or another for almost 10 years, maybe more. And it just seems to me that right now, your position is perhaps more dispiriting, more depressing than it's ever been before. Would you agree?
Absolutely not. Actually, ironically, I can call Vladimir Putin as my godfather in politics, because when he came to the power and the way he talks and the way what he's saying, what he's doing, the laws he's passing through Duma, told me that Russia is done with the democracy and I should do something. I should join to the opposition movement. But, you know, I didn't find myself in the more depressing situation than previously. For example, in 2008, the biggest rally, biggest meeting I participated in was maybe 100 of people, maybe 200, and meeting with 1,000 of people was tremendously big. But in the 2011, 2012, we saw rallies participating with hundreds of thousands of people. So I saw different times, and it doesn't bother me how many people now come into the streets. I just enjoy doing the right thing.
But in a way, you've just made my point for me. You had a momentum between 2008 and 2011-12. It did appear that you were building a real popular street movement. But look at today. Today, more than 80% of Russians say they approve of President Putin, but also the international situation is changing. And in particular, we are about to see a new US president who admires Vladimir Putin, who says that Putin is smart, who says he believes that he can trust Putin and wants to work with Putin. That's your new reality.
Well, I have to remind you that, for example, in 2008, everyone in the world, they admire Putin and Medvedev much bigger than now. Do you remember the so-called reset strategy declared by Obama administration? They were just nice friends with Mr. Putin. They are kissing each other, etc., etc. Yes, we had a momentum in our...
Let's be specific. When Donald Trump says, and this is a tweet from just the other day, when he says, quote, "We should be ready to trust Vladimir Putin," what is your feeling?
Well, it sounds disappointing for me, and, you know, it's bothering me because I have no idea why Mr. Trump so kind of Mr. Putin, because their views on politics, on particular issues, they 100% different. From migration to the economy, they 100% different politicians, but they like each other, and it's strange. But, well, I would say that international relationships between Kremlin and foreign countries, they wasn't the hot issue inside of Russia. So, well, someone is good for Putin, someone is bad. It doesn't care for me.
But do you, in any sense, feel betrayed by an incoming US president who says that he regards working closely with Putin would be a great asset? You know, because in a sense that works against everything you are trying to achieve. You're trying to tell the Russian people that as long as Putin is in power, Russia is going to be facing sanctions, Russia is going to be isolated, Russia has no international future, and yet Trump's message is very different.
I don't like it, and I could say honestly that I'm irritated by this, but annoyed by this, but I don't feel betrayed. And I can tell you about moments when I feel betrayed. When Putin's oligarch, in the top of the British list of the most wealthy people, when government officials from Russia buy an apartment costing 11 million pounds in London, when they are freely traveling all over the Europe and all over the world, despite you have a lot of special regulation, like, you know, you have a so-called bribery act in Russia, in Britain, and you can, without any problems, prosecute these people for the, on your own laws, for the money laundering, for the bribery, but they are feeling completely free. I feel a bit betrayed, but it doesn't have something with Donald Trump so far.
Isn't one of your big problems that Vladimir Putin has very successfully wrapped himself in the Russian flag? He's used nationalism as a potent political force, and he's done it in recent years by projecting Russian power beyond your borders. And obviously I'm thinking in particular of events in Ukraine, but also what we see in Syria today. Vladimir Putin, to your people in Russia, looks like the strong leader reviving Russian power that so many Russian people want.
Vladimir Putin just trying to distract Russian people from the real problems like inequality and poverty. We have 23 million of Russian citizens living below the line of poverty, and he's distracting them from this problem with his imperial delusion about making Russia great again and all this stuff.
But you call it an imperial delusion. Vladimir Putin would say to you, getting back Crimea, which is ours and historically was always ours and means so much to the people in this country, that's not a delusion. That's something that he has delivered for the Russian people.
I would say that everyone in Russia would be much happier if Vladimir Putin deliver some more wealth to the Russian people, not just to his oligarchs, because what was having in Russia in terms of economy, I will use the favorite term of Mr. Trump, is a disaster. What's going on inside of country. And yes, Vladimir Putin have a very aggressive behavior towards everyone in this world now, but it's just because he doesn't have an ability to solve problems inside of Russia.
Are you telling me that your message to the Russian people is that if you, Alexei Navalny, were in power in the Kremlin, you would hand Crimea back to Ukraine? Is that what you would do?
I don't think that there are simple decision on this issue, but I would say that, first of all, I will start a new and honest referendum in Crimea, and the voice of Crimean people on this honest referendum will be
with all due respect, international law is quite clear. Crimea belongs to Ukraine and it was annexed illegally. So if you are to reset Russia to create a new dynamic between Russia and the outside world, you would have to hand Crimea back. Are you prepared to do that and to tell the Russian people you would do that?
I would admit honestly that it was an illegal annexation. Yes, it's true, but there is no simple decision like moving Crimea back and forth, right? And I would say that this problem don't have any decision for the couple of decades, maybe longer. It would be something like, you know, North Cyprus or territory we're sharing with Japan in arguing with Japan for the decades, or Palestinian territories. All conflicts like this, they don't have a simple solution, and maybe they don't have solution at all. But what we should really consider in this situation is the opinion of the people in Crimea. Actually, we have no idea what they're thinking, because the referendum which was done by Vladimir Putin, it was just a fake. We need new referendum, and it should be start of what we're doing later.
See, the context here again comes back to Donald Trump, because whether it be on the Ukraine-Crimea issue or whether it be on Syria, Donald Trump has indicated that he can foresee the easing of sanctions, maybe even the removal of US sanctions on Russia, if Putin will work with him on what Trump